I'll get us started, Steve, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for logging on tonight. Truly appreciate it. Before we get started with our guest speaker for this evening, I just wanted to share with you a description of these content webinars. We mentioned it at the first webinar. If you had a chance to make it there and watch the video recording, but I'll share it again. These content webinars are a course feature that not only aids in completing the course, but also elevates your teaching practice. The Rutgers Alternate Route team looked at the survey data from your previous phase course and noted the topics identified by your cohort as areas where more insights are desired. Through content webinars, we will bring in distinguished guest speakers, like Steve Bolor here this evening, to delve into these topics. You'll find the dates for the future content webinars posted in the Canvas modules. You're encouraged to extend invitations to your Year 2 team members, making these professional development webinars a collaborative experience. Best of all, these webinars are complimentary, but please note that registration is mandatory to secure your spot. A couple more people in. All right, so without further ado, Steve Bolor, our guest speaker tonight, has a long history in the education system, from art teacher to principal to superintendent of schools, and also alternate route instructor. His 25+ year career has shown him firsthand how to face the challenges that teachers encounter and how to overcome them with creativity and communication. Steve, the floor is yours.
Uh-oh. Am I frozen? Uh-oh.
You're frozen. I can hear you, but there you are. You're back.
There we go. All right. I don't know what happened there. Just got a froze. I wanted to hear the rest of my intro. Man. All right. Hello, everybody. I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. I don't know if anybody knows about me or who I am, but she did a good job with the intro. All right. Couple of things before we dive into anything. First of all, I'm a very animated person when I speak, but we are in this box. And it's hard to get feedback and forth all the time. We have so many people in the chat. Oh, real quick, Victoria, are you able to record? Oh, it is recorded. Okay,
it's recording.
Yes, good. All right. So what I do is I utilize the chat like a champ. I use it so much. So in order to utilize the chat quickly and easily, I know that there's those little emojis and everything, but I make up my own emojis. So as I am speaking, as things are happening, if I say something that you think is, wow, that is great, I want to give some applause. In the chat, you're going to use exclamation points. Put those exclamation points in. That means applause. Now, if I ask a question and everybody, the answer is yes or no, we're going to use Y for yes and N for no. But sometimes I'm going to do something that's going to blow your mind. You'll be like, whoa, man, what blew my mind? If I say something that blows your mind, what are we going to put into the chat? Boom. Exactly. We're going to put boom in the chat, like boom. My goodness, that's a new idea, new understanding, new concept. Last little thing, emoji that we're going to use in our chat for some community conversation is if I say something that you believe 100%. You're like, Steve, I get it. I understand it. You're preaching to the choir. Preach on, preacher. We're going to put amen in the chat. All right. So we have all of our emojis. We have exclamation points, which is for giving applause, boom to blow your mind, yes for yes, N for no, and amen as well. All right. Do we all understand what we need to do? You've got to be kidding me. Yes, in the chat, I just told you what you needed to do. My goodness. We need to do classroom management with you guys already. My goodness. And make sure that your chat is set to everyone. So that way we can all see what is being said. There's going to be times I might be asking for questions, for feedback, and all those different types of things. Please feel free to jump in and, do that in the chat. I'm pretty good at monitoring the chat, and so will Victoria will be able to monitor the chat as well. Near the end, I'm going to hopefully have some times that we can answer questions as well. All right. So I need you to make me a host. Can you make me a host, Victoria, so that way I can share my screen in the slides? Did you get me? Boom. You are now the host. Thank you very much. All right. So let's make sure that we get this in. All right. So so first of all, this is my speaking name. My name goes by Stand Tall Steve. Now, the reason why you're probably wondering about the stand tall thing, I am a tall guy. I am a very tall person. I'm 6'7" tall. No, I am not a basketball player. Yes, I can play basketball. No, I will not do it for you. Yes, I can dunk the ball. No, I will not do it for you. Yes, I played in high school. No, I did not play in college. Yes, I enjoy the sport. No, I do not know any professional basketball players. All right. Those are the questions I get by everybody all the time. 6'7" black man, bald head, got to be a ball player. It's okay. I get it. There you go. I answered all the questions for you. Anyway, with that, I go around the country and I work with schools, not only around the country, but around the world on three things specifically: culture and climate, leadership development, idea development. That is it. Culture and climate, how the school, the environment within the school, leaders, how to make sure that the leaders are doing the very best, and then how to develop ideas that actually work. Now, for our time today that we're going to focus on as relate to culture and climate is we're going to talk about classroom management. And I like to call this one classroom management that works. And I can honestly say that this does work. I have been a school administrator for many, many years. Now I do this speaking and training full time all the time. But in doing this, I have worked with a lot of schools, and having this understanding of classroom management helps. And that's what this is that I'm giving you. It's a different way of thinking about classroom management. I'm not going to tell you the specific strategies that you have to do each and every time. I can tell you about a different way of thinking about classroom management. So we're going to start with the most important understanding is that kid. We're going to focus in on that kid. I think we all know about that kid. All of us have had that kid in our classroom. Many of you are new teachers. You might have that kid in your classroom. You may have heard about that kid. Some of you might have been that kid, right? Growing up. So what I want you to do in the chat, whether the chat's on this side, that side, down, or wherever, I want you to type in there the different types of that kid. And I will start with the very first one to give you some understanding. You're supposed to type in that kid who will never stay in their seat. All right. Anybody seen that kid before? Who else has a that kid? In the chat, type in there a that kid. That kid who what? Oh, it's going fast. I'm going to hit some of these. That kid who roams around the classroom. That kid who makes random noises. That kid who never has their computer. That kid who can't stop talking. That kid who always shouts out. That kid who's always, okay, what else we got? That kid who can't stay focused. That kid, ooh, Leela, I love that. That kid who rolls their eyes. Woo, make you want to knock one out, right? That kid who never gets off the phone. Jeffrey, thank you for that one. Amira, that kid who's loud, right? Alexa, that kid who's disruptive. Oh, you guys have so many that kids. That kid who would never stay still, never stop using the phone. Elena, very good. Thank you so much. Jana, that kid who's always loud. It's amazing. You guys all have the same that kid. It's amazing. How about this one, gang? How about this one? That kid who always is asking, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? Is this right? Does anybody have a that kid who always, is that right? Is this right? Is this right? Yes, everybody has one of those kids. Everybody has one of those kids. That's what it is. Here's the thing, gang. That kid is always going to be there. And here's the one kid who's always asking, is that right? Is that right? Is this right? That's usually a good kid. But that kid becomes that kid because what is that kid actually doing? It's preventing you from doing what? What you really want to do, which is teach. That's what we all really want to do. Yes, teach. Amira had it right, nail on the head. That's what we all want to do. We want to teach. Please stop asking me so many questions. Just let me teach. I guarantee you're going to get it. No, just stop calling out. Just hold on. Let me teach. Wait, no, just sit down for a moment. Just let me teach. I guarantee you it's going to be good. Just let me teach. That's the issue. The problem that we have sometimes with our classroom management is because that's ultimately what we want to do. Not every one of that kid is a bad kid. Now, here's the thing that we need to understand, this concept. The concept is reduce, not eliminate. Reduce, not eliminate. What do I mean by reduce, not eliminate? A rhetorical question, don't answer it in the chat. What do I mean by reduce, not eliminate is this. In education, in everything that we do, there's going to be issues, problems, and concerns. That's what happens in education. And what do we do when we have issue, problems, and concerns in education? We put together a committee. That's what we do. We put together a committee. We get the committee together and we sit down and we discuss the issues, problems, and concerns on what we can do to eliminate those issues, problems, and concerns. We have a lot of kids who are acting up in the hallways. What can we do to eliminate that? We have an attendance issue. What can we do to eliminate that? We have a behavior issue. What do we do to eliminate it? We have an achievement gap. What can we do to eliminate that? I'm here to tell you, you're not. You're not. We are not going to eliminate the issue, problems, and concern in schools. All you do is you're banging your head against the wall. But what we can do, even though we cannot eliminate it, we can do what? Reduce it. We can reduce it. We can reduce the poor behavior. We can reduce the attendance issue. We can reduce the achievement gap to the point that it's not a huge gap anymore, right? We can do all of those things. But the problem is that when we do focus on reducing, we don't take the time to recognize the reduction, right? We get better, that kid's behavior reduces. But what do we say? He's still interrupting my class. It's not 100%, but it's reduced. And the more that we can reduce the issue, problem, and concern, the better that you'll be able to do what? Teach. It increases the probability that you can teach. So I always start off my presentation with that this is not going to eliminate issues, problems, concerns from that kid or the poor behaviors, but it can reduce it. And the more that we reduce it, it increases the probability that you'll be able to do what you really want to do, which is teach. That's how this works, gang. So let's go into it. I'm going to show you a formula so that you can get the results of what you want to see. Getting the results that you want to see are, you want to see more focus on instruction, more time in the classroom, better relationships with students in the classroom. So here's the formula. This is the formula. This is the results formula. Feel free to take a screenshot if you want to. I don't care. Fine with me. Take your phone, click. It's all right with me. And you can notice there are 5-letter R's. What you respect, recognize, reward, and reinforce gives you the results that you want to see. Respect, recognize, reward, and reinforce gives you the results that you want to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of these R's in order for you to have a clear understanding. And here's the thing, with this results formula, it is an understanding by you and what you can do in order to help your classroom move better in a much better way, creating a climate and culture of learning. So let's start with the first R. The first R is the R of respect. Respect and value. What do you respect and value in your classroom? What is most important to you as the educator in that classroom? That's what's most important. You need to make sure that that is clarified. If I was to go to each one of you and ask you, what is it you respect and value? Would you be able to quickly and easily say 2, 3 words, maybe 4 words of exactly what it is you respect and value in that classroom? I'm not talking about full-on sentences, not a whole paragraph. We're not talking about a mission statement or a vision statement. Clearly stated what you respect and value in the classroom. That's the first step. Have that understanding of what's most important in your classroom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to internally brand what those things are. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about having these clear words of what it is you respect and value. Let's say that in my class, I respect and value teamwork, accountability, and integrity. You have those words of what you respect and value, and then you're going to internally brand it within your classroom, because this is what usually happens, all right? Beginning of the school year, teacher comes up with a list of rules. And what are you told to do with your list of rules? Put it in the front of your classroom, right? Listen, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do that. And you have to have them. And what do you say to the kids? Boys and girls, these are the list of rules that we have in front of the classroom. We're going to go over these rules. You're going to follow these rules throughout the school year, all right? Oh, you know what? I'm going to have the kids, you're going to come up here, you're going to sign this poster of all the things that we respect and value. By you signing this poster, that means you're going to follow these rules that we have. You know what? I'm going to print this poster out so that you can have this list of rules in your binder. So that way you have the binder, it's in the front of the room, you signed it here. You know what? You're going to take that paper home. Take that paper home so that you can give it to your parents. Your parents are going to know what it is, the rules in this class. You know what? Have your parents sign it. Your parents are going to sign this paper. You sign the paper, you bring it back to me, and it's in the front of the room. You know what? You're going to give yourself a homework grade. You bring that paper back, signed by the parent. We're going to give you a homework grade. You know what? We're going to do a quiz grade. You get a quiz grade, you give that paper back to me, signed, and it's going to be in the front of the room, signed by, you know what, we're going to do a test grade. You can start the marking period off with a 100 test grade. You sign it, the parent, it's been a week. How come I haven't had this paper back? I want to get, does this ever work? What did I tell you to do? What did I tell you in the chat? Does this ever work? No. I know adults who sign papers and do whatever they want. That kid will sign it and be crazy, right? I'm not saying it is not a good practice, okay? Do it, because what that does is it covers you if something goes awry, and you can say that the parents understand what is going on. But I would much rather say this. You come up with what you respect and value. 3 words, whatever it is. I think I saw in the chat earlier, somebody even dropped some of the things that in there. Respect and value diversity. Flava did that. All right. Come up with what you respect and value. Post that on every wall of the room. Front of the room, side of the room, side of the room, back of the room. And then what's going to happen is this. As you wander around the room, because they always tell teachers to do what when you're teaching? Keep it moving. Keep it moving. If kids do what it is you want to respect and value, you can point it out because it's right there. That's an anchor chart. That's an anchor chart. So many times teachers have anchor charts in their classroom and you never reference the anchor chart. You get mad at the kids because they don't look at it. It's in the room. Why aren't you looking at it? You point at it. And if you have an anchor chart about what it is you respect and value, you point it out constantly. You have to develop the habit for them so that they're looking at it consistently. Does this make sense? Yes, it makes sense. I know it does. So you're internally branding it. Now, what am I talking about? All right. I'm talking about simple words that you can use for when you identify what you respect and value. Words that you can read them instantly and you automatically know what it means. In this classroom, we're about teamwork, knowledge, and accountability. In this classroom, we're about independence, efficiency, and effectiveness. We're about growth, integrity, and passion. We're about achievement, trust, and grit. We're about trying, creativity, and courage. You see how simple that is? And it doesn't matter if you're in a high school, you're departmentalized, or if you're in an elementary school, which is even better, where you're single grade, single class, all day, boom, you have it. The moment they walk through the threshold of your door, this is what we respect and value. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I should have the students work with me on this so that they have buy-in with this, right? And that's fine. But I say, it's your classroom, you pick it. It's your classroom, you pick it. Be the adult. How many parents talk to their 2-year-old child and say, well, what do we respect and value in the house? And we're going to decide what it, no, you're the parent, pick it. Now, here's an option. You pick 3. If you're at a middle school or a high school, maybe you're 5th grade and up. You pick 3, have the kids have a consensus to add 1 more, the 4th one. All right, y'all with me? Okay. So that's what we're going to do. You still have the listing of what your rules. Don't get me wrong, because those are procedurals, right? Now you're going to identify what you respect and value. This is what happens in our room. All right. We're going to ignore those things. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on culture and climate, what culture and climate really is, because that's ultimately what we want. We want a positive culture and climate in our schools. But the question comes in, what is climate and culture? What does it really mean? So I'm going to break down what climate and culture really is. And once we really have a clear understanding what climate and culture is, Then you'll have a better understanding of how to better utilize what you respect and value. All right, here's the diagram, gang. I want you to look at this diagram. All right. In the middle of this diagram is the word respect and value. Now, let's say that we chose the words teamwork, integrity, and accountability. That's what you respect and value in your classroom. That is the core of climate and culture. Now, let's talk about climate. Climate is represented by this wavy blue line. And the definition of a climate is the emotional state people feel when they enter a space. Climate is the emotional state people feel when they enter a space. When they walk into your classroom, what is the emotional feeling that they have? That's the climate. I've been in and out of a lot of schools all over the world. I have some schools, you walk in the front door and you can instantly feel the negativity the second you walk in. You're like, ooh, you feel the tenseness, right? There's other schools, you walk in the front door and it's like, oh, it's Disney in here. It's wonderful. Oh, I love it. You can go into one classroom, students have their head down, quiet, taking a test. It feels strained and tense. You can walk out, go right next door. Kids are quiet, heads down, taking a test. It feels positive. That is climate. The emotional state people feel when they enter a space. Now, it is wavy because climate fluctuates. It changes. The climate changes year to year, month to month, week to week, sometimes minute to minute. The climate at the beginning of the school year is different than the climate before state testing. Yes? Yes, definitely. The climate before winter break is different than the climate on March 3rd. Yes. So that's why it's represented by the wavy blue line. Sometimes it is close to what you respect and value, and sometimes it is not. Let's talk about culture. Culture is nothing more than a fancy word for traditions. That's what culture is. Your traditions, how you traditionally operate and do things in your classroom or in your school. That's how, like in a country, they have traditions. That's their culture, all right? Now, their culture is broken down into two different parts. There's your scheduled, or I like to call it your operational culture, and then there's your behavioral culture. The bottom gray line represents the scheduled or operational culture. How do you operate? How do you schedule things? How do students come into the room? How do you hand in paperwork? How do you do tests? Like all the operations within your classroom. Your behavioral culture is how do students and teachers behave to each other traditionally? How do students talk to students? How do teachers talk to students? How far is it allowed to go? All right. So we have all the parts. What you respect and value, what you say you respect and value. The climate is the emotions, behavioral culture, scheduled operational culture. Here's the thing, gang. We know that when the climate is positive, students and staff do better. Yes? Yes. So what do is we do fun, neat things in the classroom in order to try to make the environment and the feelings better. But here's the thing. Those are only little Band-Aids. The only way to have systemic, long-term, positive climate emotions is to work on the what? The culture. The culture, the traditions that you do in your classroom must be in alignment with what you respect and value. And when they are, those lines move closer together. Those lines move closer together. Your operations, your schedule, the way you do things are in alignment with teamwork, accountability, and integrity. Your behavior, expectations, you're holding people accountable to what you respect and value, teamwork, accountability, integrity. And the more you keep things aligned to that, the closer these lines get. And then what happens to the climate? It levels out. It levels out. Right? You don't have those big swells. Oh, the kids' behavior, they're just saying whatever in this classroom. Oh, what are we doing here? This process isn't working right. Oops, going too fast. Yep, you get it tighter, tighter, boom. Now you notice the blue line is still wavy. It's still people are people, emotions are emotions. But this is what we're trying to prevent from happening. This is what we want to have happen. In the chat, let me know. Does this make sense? Is this blowing your mind? Is this a clear way of understanding climate and culture? Yes, there we go. Thank you. Yes. This is doable over time. And how do you make this happen? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what we can do in order to make this happen more consistently within your classroom. It's totally possible over time. This is what we need to do. We already identify what you respect and value. The next step is to recognize students when they do what it is you respect and value. Specifically, point out when they do what it is you respect and value. That's why I say you have it in multiple spots around the room. So when a student does something that involves teamwork, way to go. That goes with what we respect and value in this classroom. Way to go. Awesome job. Hey, I like what you did there. That goes with integrity. I like that. Ooh, boom. Accountability right here. I love that. You constantly are talking about it. I don't get teachers who say, I should not have to repeat myself a million times. Yes, repeat yourselves a million times when it relates to what you respect and value. Say it again, say it again, say it again, say it again. Recognize them, take note. I don't know about you, but I'd rather repeat myself a million times over positive things of what I respect and value as opposed to negative things. There's a wonderful quote out there. Students need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. Write that down, quote it. Tweet it out. Or it's not even tweet anymore. It's exit out, or whatever you call that thing, right? Students need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. Truthfully, that's what we do. You do an intro lesson. You teach them that. After that, what do? Remind them, remind them, remind them, practice, remind them, remind them, remind. Same thing with what you respect and value in the classroom. But yet we get an attitude like, oh my gosh, how many times I got to tell you? Yes. Remind, 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 remind. Remember, they're not adults. They're little children. Okay? Y'all with me? So let me talk about the importance of recognition. All right? And I'm going to give you a great way of thinking about this. It's called daytime DJ voice, nighttime DJ voice. Daytime DJ voice, nighttime DJ voice. Now, let's think about the radio DJ. If anybody even listens to the radio anymore, all right? Let's think about the late night, nighttime DJ voice. In the chat, tell me, what does the late night DJ voice sound like? In the chat, what's the very late night DJ voice sound like? There's a lot of young people here. Don't you dare get deep and smooth, sleepy, relaxed, soft. There you go. Y'all can say it's sexy, right? There you go. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing, baby? This is Big Steve on the radio. I'm coming to you with some smooth tunes to put in your ear tonight, right? That's the late night DJ voice. Now, let's go to daytime, or better yet, morning. Let's go with that. Morning DJ voice. What does the morning DJ voice sound like? Boom, upbeat, energetic, over the top, peppy. Hey, y'all, how we doing this morning? We got the traffic out here. What's the weather? Whoop, whoop. There we go. Santa. That's it, right? That's the daytime, morning, high energy, explosive. Rolando, I love that. Explosive DJ voice. Here's the thing, gang. I think when we are recognizing or even talking to kids, we have these voices backwards. A student does something, student do something that goes against what you respect and value. We use our daytime DJ voice. Hey, get over here. What are you doing? That's not what we're supposed to do. Cut that out. That's your daytime DJ voice for something negative. Student does something positive. They do something that you respect and value. Good job. Keep that up. All right, there you go. No, that's backwards, y'all. Backwards. I don't care if it's pre-K to 12th grade. Kids love to see adults get hyped up. Why do they only see you get hyped up over negative things? Seriously. If a student does something that you respect and value, that's when you should be like, oh my gosh, way to go. Look at you. That goes with what we respect and value. That is off the chart. Now, if you're one of those teachers like, well, I have a reputation. I don't, the kid, I'm the cool teacher. Get over it. The moment you signed your contract, you're old. You're old. Just suck it up. Take it. You're old. I don't care. You could be 22, like, oh, I'm just out of college. No, you old. You signed a contract. Be silly. Be goofy. If they do something, oh, way to go. You can use a daytime DJ voice softly. Hey, way to go. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. Student does something that you don't respect and value, something against it. Hey, get over here. What are you doing? That's not right. That's not what we're about. So disappointed. The only time you use a daytime DJ voice for something negative is for safety reasons. You have to get their attention for safety. Once you get their attention, you bring it down to the lowest emotional level. That's how this works. All right? Alexa, see you later. You have an appointment, no problem. Right? And there are some kids that if you do your daytime DJ voice to recognize them, they don't want the attention and they'll flip the script and start acting up. That's why I said you can do a daytime DJ voice softly. You can pull a kid aside. Hey, good job. Proud of you. You don't want to mess up their rep, right? Does this make sense? Give me in the chat. Does this make sense? Am I rocking something out? Yes, thank you. Get a little booms in there or something. That's it. All right. Well, how's our time? Okay, we're doing okay. So we're talking about the results formula. I spend extra time on respect and value because it's so important. So we identify what you respect and value. You're clear with it. We understand culture and climate. Now what you're going to do is you're going to recognize students when they do what it is you respect and value, taking note specifically, and be specific about it. If they do something respect and value, don't just say good job, way to go. Good job that goes with what we respect and value in this classroom, what we respect in this classroom, specifically. So the next one is reward. Rewarding. Now, understand when I'm talking about recognize, all right? When I say recognize, we're not giving the kids anything, all right? I'm not giving them anything. Recognize means open your mouth and say something nice. I'm not giving nothing tangible. Recognition is open your mouth and say something nice. So when I say reward, now is when we have something tangible. A reward system. There's nothing wrong with having a reward system. All right. I know there's some people out there like, no, we want it all to be intrinsically. That's not our kids nowadays. All right. Especially the post-pandemic kids. All right. We know what them kids are different. Right. So you need to have some kind of reward system that you have in your classroom. And there's tons of different things that you can do. Right. There's plenty of different options that are out there. Some of you may already have some reward system. All right. PBSIS reward. Yes, there's plenty of things. There's that. There's Jocelyn's Renaissance reward. There's a Wellness. There's all these different things. But here's the thing when you're doing a reward system. No secret rewards. I am not a fan of a reward system that is a secret. And what do I mean by that? When I say no secret rewards, I mean the students need to know what it is they have to do to get the reward. If they don't know what it is they have to get the reward, it's one of two things. It's either a bribe or a gift. It is. They have to know the criteria. I was working with this one school, it was a charter school, and I was doing consulting with them. And in their main hallway, they had this huge, big, what do you call it there? A bulletin board. It was a high school, a charter high school in New Jersey. I won't even say which one it is. But they had this huge giant bulletin board in the main hallway. And so I asked them, what are you guys doing with this big bulletin board? And they're like, I don't know. We have to figure something out to do with it. I said, okay, let's do this. I want you to go through the entire building and figure out every reward that you can get, all of them. And I want you to design this bulletin board that showcases every reward that you can get within the school. I want you to say the name of it, who sponsors it, what they have to do to get the reward, and when it's given out. Put it on the board. So I worked with the guidance department, took about a month or so. They organized it, boom, made the big board. Then we did a campaign to the students and the staff. Check out the reward board. Check out the award board. You got to see the award board. They set it a morning announcement. They put it out in Texas, the text messages and stuff like that. Did it for about 2 or 3 weeks. All of a sudden, what they noticed is students were going to the board and looking like, oh, I didn't realize that was oh, I can get that. Oh, wait a second, I can get that. And they started seeing an uptick of kids getting rewards. And don't you know there were some teachers who were angry about it? Some of the teachers, they came back to me. There's some teachers like, these kids are getting all these rewards. Yes. Because if they're getting the rewards, that means that they're stepping up and they're doing what's necessary to get the reward. And here's the thing, you want those rewards to be directly connected to what? What you respect and value. If you have a reward system in your class that connects to what you respect and value, that strengthens what it is that you want to have happen in that classroom. You're doing the, and here's the difference. You recognize students for what they're supposed to do. You reward them when they go above and beyond what they're supposed to do. That's how it works, right? They do what you're supposed to do. They do what you respect and value. Verbal, daytime DJ voice. Way to go. Proud of you. It's right there on the wall. Awesome. There's a criteria that you can go above and beyond for teamwork, accountability, integrity, whatever it is that you have. Go above and beyond for it. If you go above and beyond, then it's like, boom. Hey, now we give it a reward. You get this. Way to go. Proud of you. This is awesome. I love this. That strengthens it. I see some booms, some amens in the chat. Thank you. This makes sense to me. This is exactly what I did as a building administrator with my teachers. We talked it through. This is how we're going to strengthen it. And by doing this, it reduces, not eliminates, some of the issues, problems, concerns, because the main thing is exactly what we're talking about here. Identifying what you respect and value, recognizing students and staff when they do what it is you respect and value, have a reward system directly connected to what you respect and value. And then the last one is reinforce. Now, if you were to go to Google Images, type in Google Images, and type in the word reinforcement, what will show up is a bunch of images of what you see in the background there. Rebarb, scaffolding, framing of homes and buildings, because those are the reinforcements for buildings. I've done this, and that's what pops up. Here's the thing. When you look at those pictures, is it one metal beam holding up everything? Is it one wooden beam putting everything together? No, there's hundreds, if not thousands of them to hold up the structure. So therefore, it makes sense that you do the first three things that were on this list: respect, identify, respect, and value, recognize, and reward. You do those three things again and again and again and again. And then again and again and again and again. And when you're done with it, you do it again and again and again and again. And then when you're done with that, you do it again and again and again and again. And here's the thing. Secret question. If you are constantly doing these things over and over and over and over and over and over again, those things turn into a tradition in your classroom. When you have a tradition in your classroom, that is just another word for what? Put it in the chat. Come on, y'all. Thank you. Culture. And if your culture is wrapped around what you respect and value, then you develop a positive climate of learning. And then the students who are that student who are constantly acting up, they are going to be the uncomfortable one. Is this easy? No, I never said it was. But it changed. There's so many teachers who are leaving education. They're running out because they're stressed out. They can't take it anymore. This process and this way of thinking will keep you in the game longer. You are thinking on the positive. You are thinking about what you respect and value. Yes, is it going to be sometimes they're going to challenge you? Are they going to? Yes. And you may be the different teacher from all the other ones around you who might be doing things differently. That's okay. That is okay. When they walk through your door, it's a different kind of place. I'm sure right now you can see teachers in your school where their rooms are different. It's like their rooms are different. Teachers just treat, and they may be some teachers that are super mean and that's how they run their rooms. There's other teachers that are always happy they run their rooms. Why can't you be one of the happy teachers that are running your room? It's not impossible. Figure out what you respect and value, hold it true to what you respect and value, and make it happen. How many people have seen Ted Lasso? Huh? He came in there, it was a hot mess. Yes, Ted Lasso. If you've seen it, you haven't seen it, watch it. He put up what he respected and value, believe. And he kept referencing again and again and again and again. He reinforced it. He recognized them when they did it and during the whole show, if his players did it, believed, he recognized it. And he reinforced it again and again and again and again. And over time, it changes. This works, y'all. This mindset is a wonderful way to operate a classroom. And even though the school year has already started, you can do this. It's not something you just have to do in the beginning of the year. It's totally possible. And this is the way you get the results of what it is that you want to see. It moves you closer. Remember, reduce, not eliminate. It doesn't eliminate the issues, problems, and concern, but it can move you closer to the ideas of what it is that you want to see. All right? Check. Done. That's what I'm talking about. All right? Now, there's one additional R that I hid from you. Relationships. That's an additional one. And I think you guys all know this. And many of you probably got into education because you know that this is what you would really want. You want to develop those positive relationships with everybody, right? And developing those positive relationships, one, it's about having a healthy student-staff relationship. Healthy. That's the key word here. I think a lot of times with teachers and with students, you think that you can't have a healthy relationship, and students are a little unaware of what a good relationship can really is, because they may not have a healthy adult-child relationship outside of school. A healthy adult-child relationship is you're the adult, they are the child. And they know that dynamic. You're not saying that you're pushing down on them, but you can develop a healthy adult-child relationship in your classroom. It's totally possible. You want a healthy relationship. And that happens not by being mean, but being firm. Now, one of the things I always say is when you have your rules, because that's another thing. I always say you still have to have your rules. Research shows that whenever you have a rule or you implement a new concept, idea, whatever, in order for it to develop into a habit, you need 6 weeks. Now, I do this presentation a lot at the beginning of the school year, and I always say the first 6 weeks. But you need to stay firm to what it is you respect and value. Be firm with what it is your rules and expectations are. You have to maintain that. And you need to have that whole persona of being firm with what it is that your expectations are. You start wavering in that, they might slide in and boom, next thing you know, you don't have what it is that you think that you need. But it all revolves around developing what it is you respect and value. Now, because I want to have some time for questions and answers, I do want to go over one additional thing with you guys, and that is parents. Connecting with parents and making sure that you have a good relationship with the parents. That is huge. Even if they're at the high school level. I know sometimes at high school it's not the same, and it's hard to have those relations with the parents. But it is important to develop that positive relationship with the parents. Send the emails to the parents. One of the things I did at my school when I was a building principal is I would tell my teachers, if you can send home we used to write down at the beginning of the year 10 things of interest about the teacher. I would write 10 things down about yourself, all right, that you're willing to share. And then once a month, send an email home to all the parents about that one of those things. Let's say that you are a Girl Scout leader and you like to help with Girl Scouts, or you have a collection of seashells, or you love to travel, or you're really into cars, or you're a master crocheter. Pick something. Send a little note home with all the parents saying, hey, this weekend I'm going camping with my Girl Scout troop. I love doing that on the weekend. Be honest I love hanging with my Girl Scouts, but I hate camping, but I can't let them know. Have a wonderful weekend or have a wonderful day. That's it. Why am I asking you to do this? Why did I ask my staff to do this? I did this because by sending little bits of information about yourself, it makes you appear to be human. Because a lot of times they get the mindset of the teacher. You're still a human. You're a person. Let them get to know you just a little bit. And you don't have to give all your information out like, they don't need to know about me. But that little bit really does help. And I've had many of my teachers say, you know what, my parents are more open and connecting with me. They're willing to talk with me about certain things, especially if there's a little thing that they can relate to in some way, and it makes it easier to talk with them. Here's the other thing. You cannot be afraid to talk to parents on the phone. I know I've had veteran teachers like, I don't know if I can talk to a parent on the phone, because in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, please don't go off on me. Now, I had a situation, let's talk about parent-teacher phone calls. I had a situation where a veteran teacher called a parent to give a good phone call to the parent, and the teacher didn't realize it, and the parent started going off on the teacher on the phone, ripped her up one side and down another. It blew up to be really bad. The teacher was upset, the parent was upset, it was bad. So what I decided to do is I decided to help the teachers in my school, and so I gave them an outline. I told them, whenever you make a phone call to a parent, number one, you need to have a notepad to take notes, always have a calendar to be aware of dates and times, and a list of names and contacts of other people to talk to in the district. All right? So if you are able to get a hold of a parent, and I get it, Cassandra, I see that in there. Sometimes they refuse to talk to phone or email. I know, it feels impossible. But if you're able to get a hold of them. But then I came up with this. This is called the parent phone call flow chart. It is a flow chart to help teachers talk to parents on the phone, whether it's a good phone call or a bad phone call. All right, so let's go through this. All right, so let's go through this, and I made it bigger for you in case you couldn't see it. So let's say that it's a good phone call. Parent has a concern. Is the parent being nice? In this case, yes. Can the concern be solved by you? Because sometimes it can't. But let's say in this case, it can be solved by you. Yes. Convey empathy, take notes, get good information. Conveying empathy means you're on the phone and you're like, uh-huh, okay, I see. Wow, I hear you. That's it. Get good information. Is the parent finished venting? In this case, they're not. It's a good phone call. Yes, they're done. Ask qualifying questions and take notes. Repeat the concern to the parent. Just repeat back to them in your own words what their concern is. Do you have all the information that you need? Yes. Do you know how to work with the parent to solve the concern? Yes. Work together, solve the parent's concern. Make sense? Yes. Now let's go through this as if it's a bad parent phone call. All of a sudden, parent's getting hot and mad with you. Parent has a concern. Is the parent being nice? No. Uh-oh. Pause, breathe, and think rationally. Listen attentively and take notes. Prepare to repeat the parent concern. In these three boxes, did I tell you to say anything? No. Hush up. Be quiet. Let the parent go. Let them say what they need to say. Let it go. Let them go off. All right? I know you want to turn it. You want to say something. Don't. Can the concern be solved by you? Let's say yes, you can solve it. Convey empathy, take notes, get good information. And in this case, you're on the phone. Make sure you say, hold on, I'm writing that down. Because whenever you say that, the parent will knows that you are keeping track and understand what's being said. Now, parent is still going off. Is the parent finished venting? You notice I put 3 times no. You're going to go through this process 3 times. If the parent is still venting, you need to suggest a face-to-face conference given date and time, because it's not going to be, I'm letting you know right now, it's not going to be solved on the phone. It's not. And you have your calendar in front of you. Interrupt them, give a date and time. They're still venting, second time, give a date and time. Third time, give a date and time. Fourth time, is the parent still finished venting? No. Politely state your desire to help. Interrupt them. Say, look, I want to help. I want to be there for your child, but this is not going to be solved. Explain that you will hang up and try again at a later time. And then hang the phone up. Did he say hang the phone up? Yes, I did. You are a professional. You do not deserve to get yelled at, put down, ridiculed, or screamed at. You gave them plenty warning that you wanted to meet with them. Did you not? Yes, you did. And then you hang up the phone. But notice what the very last box says down at the bottom right corner. Seek administration. I mean, come on, you just hung up on a parent. Let's be real here, girl. Yeah, take the heels off, run down the hallway. Oh my God. You do whatever you gotta do. Get to the administrator. All right? Because the second you walk in that door, I guarantee you, ring, It's amazing how the parents get that main office number so fast at that moment. But here's the thing. I'm going to ask Miss Victoria this question because you're a school administrator. If you had a teacher that came to you, oh my goodness, I had this horrible conversation with a parent, but I did this and showed you that flow chart, how easy would it be to support that teacher?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Look at it. She didn't even hesitate.
I just want to comment on something you said because I've learned this in my 30 years of doing this. Parents rehearse what they're going to say over and over and over again, and that's why you have to be quiet. Just let them get it out. Let them get it out. It's okay. Just let them get it out.
Let them get it out. They have prepared a speech. They have their notes. They are ready. And even if they're not ready, they have some go-to statements that they're used to going to.
And they might be false statements. They might be false statements, and that's okay.
Yes.
Just let them get it out, and it will de-escalate that phone call.
That's exactly what I put into the spreadsheet. Don't say, okay. That's all you have to do. And after a while, you're still going it. Okay. Well, I think if they're still going and that's when you say, let's have a face-to-face conference because you're going to have administration. It's not going to get solved on the phone. This whole spreadsheet, this whole flow chart that I've created, it is designed so that you don't have to get down to that bottom area, right? It's set up so that you can actually work together and solve it. All right. Boom. I'm going to pause right now and we are going to stop. I'm preaching. Michael, I appreciate it. My father's a minister. Can you tell? I'm a PK kid. I'm a preacher's kid. It's crazy. All right. I'm going to pause right now. If anybody has any questions, use the real emoji down at the bottom. Raise your hand, the little thing that you can raise your hand, and then we can unmute you and we can answer, and I can answer some questions as it relates to classroom management, culture, climate, whatever it is like that. So take a second, get your thoughts together, and we're going to answer some questions that you might have about anything. All right, Georgios, yes.
Yes, maybe particularly that, but I noticed that you have a ticket right by Maya Angelou because I love that quote. I was looking at it before, and I'm actually going to use it in my class. I'm going to have like a class discussion about the Maya Angelou quote. But did you actually meet her? Because there's a ticket right by it.
Oh, this little ticket? Oh, no. This is a ticket for Spider-Man on Broadway that my wife took me to, and then I had to go backstage, and it really meant a lot to me. I'm a big comic book geek, but I know, it's like you said, no one ever paid attention to that. Oh my gosh, look at you. Yeah. I
am also curious about the arrows underneath. You have like a target. Is that like for your school thing, or behind you there's a target? There's like a target right at the books.
Oh, no. It's just a little target thing that I got. Everybody, I know my background is full of stuff here. When COVID hit, everybody went to virtual. So I'm thinking, I gotta make this look good. So I made it interesting and everything. And like, here's a secret. This wood, that's contact paper. That's not even real wood, y'all. That's not even real wood. It's contact paper. I'm in the basement, and you wouldn't even know. So there you go.
Really cool. I actually did not know it's the basement. You know it's not fake wood, but it looks like an office.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is an office. I turned it into an office. It's, I got everything. I got lights. I mean, I got a whole setup here, it's professional microphone and everything. So there you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Questions? Anybody, anything?
Hey, Steve, if I could just interrupt for 1 second, just to remind everybody, I'm going to put a little exit survey right in the chat.
Okay.
So if everyone could fill that out before they go this evening.
Ayabodi, did I say the name correctly? I see that you have your hand, a hand up in the chat. If you could unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's wonderful. I came in late, but the part I got, honestly, it's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a student I am really struggling with. His problem is he cannot keep quiet. He cannot sit down. Today, we had to call security to take him out of class. I'm at my wit's end as to what to do with him. We've contacted mom, and now again today we have to contact mom, send an email so that we get a face-to-face conference because he just is not responding to anything. The night voice, everything we've done. And I was told this is the way he was last year. So is there any trick that I can use with him, please?
Yeah. What grade level are you working with?
Sixth
Grade? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, sixth grade. Why are you acting like that in sixth grade? What is wrong with you? Woo. Okay. When you have situations like that, sometimes you use all the strategies. Sounds like you're using pretty good strategies, everything with this student to a point. And at a certain point, that's what needs to happen. You're doing right. You know, sometimes he has to be removed from classroom. He's refusing. There's something else that's going on there. You might need to talk with the school psychologist and stuff, and you know, you just give your hands up. One of the things that you might want to try to do with him is just say, look, number one, stay as close to your seat as possible, right? Obviously, he's going to be, he might be one of those, he might be unmedicated ADD. Stay as close to this area as possible. That's the goal. Let's see how far we can make it with that, all right? How far you can make, because truthfully, everybody else in the classroom knows what he's like, all right? It's obviously he's doing it for his own personal reasons. He's not doing it to show out to get responses from anybody else. Everybody else is still working it through. Here's another thing on a side note. If a student leaves your classroom, all right, you have to have the student removed. He gets kicked out, she gets kicked out or whatever like that. Please make sure that you address your class. That's one thing I always told my teachers. Don't just say, okay, focus in. We're going to keep moving. No, hey, they just saw what happened too. Don't act like it didn't happen. Hey, everyone, I know that was a tough one. Sometimes we have to make decisions that we need to do. We're going to try our best to stay focused. We know what it is that we respect and value in this classroom. Thank you very much for you guys doing what you need to do here. Boom. Always respond back to the classroom, because the stronger you make your classroom as a whole, when you do have that student, they sometimes become uncomfortable, and to the point that, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere with this. That's a possible way of thinking about it. All right. It's not a perfect answer, but it's an answer. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me, Kasturi. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I have the situation in classroom which happened last week. Right, it's like this. There's one girl in my classroom, right? I teach juniors, high school juniors. So that girl, you know, she's after grades. You know, like we can talk about it always. You know, we can go back and correct it, and she won't sit. She was so rude, and I had to call security. Right, so at that point, look, it appeared like, you know, the problem was solved, but I did not notice her boyfriend is in the classroom. He was upset about it, and from then on, he, you know, like the next day, for no reason, he started, you know, saying, we can't understand you, we really don't know what you are saying in the class. And you know, he started calling his friends and, you know, hey, do you understand, do you follow what Kasturi says in the class, stuff like that. It's really getting annoying. I don't know whether to play soft,
Did
you
you
know,
have a
like
meeting with them after school or after class?
oh yeah, I logged in, I logged it, I spoke with parents and I did all that. And you
No,
know, like
speak with them privately, like, oh, to the side. Like,
no, I
if
didn't do that.
if it's outrageous to me, I'm one of those. It seems quite outrageously clear that he started doing it at the moment that you had to address his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation. If you need to have an administrator or another teacher present when you do it, you can. It seems like to me that you started this when I had a situation with your girlfriend, and that's when it began. Up to that point, everything seems fine. So therefore, if you continue to disrupt the classroom, we're going to have to go, because understand, everything that I said, it does not negate doing discipline, right? You still have discipline, you still have rules and expectations, all right? If he's continuing to disrupt your class, then you need to follow the discipline code in order to do what is necessary. And he'll say, you're just doing that. Yes, I am just doing it because you're disrupting my class. But I can understand you. Well, you understood me before. I'm not changing my accent. So either you follow along or else you end up failing, because this is what it is. Your accent is your accent. Am I right? It is.
Oh yeah, yes.
Well, there you go. All right. So have a conversation with them, and just, I would be very straight, especially when you're dealing with high schools, juniors and seniors. They try to play the game. Be straightforward. Talk to your administrator. They can support you 100%. All right.
Thank you
Anna,
very much.
you're welcome. Anna.
Hi, sorry. I am sick with COVID.
Okay.
My question.
No, just joking.
Yeah, no,
I'm joking.
trying to keep everybody away from
I'm
me.
so sorry. So sorry. Yeah.
What it is. So my question is, I work in a behavioral school. My relationship with the students is great. I teach 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So the students they were talking about, that's like an every 15-minute occurrence for me. That's not the issue. My issue is now I've moved from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to teaching 9th through 12th. And I'm having trouble getting my students interested in language arts. I really don't know how to get them. There are some who are very interested, others are just like, nope, I don't care. I'm just here for the credits.
Mm.
How to get them more engaged and more interested in the lessons?
That's a deep question, and we can go into a lot of situations like that. Someone like an administrator, somebody can come in, kind of see what the tenure is of the class, and kind of focus on instructional strategies that could be used. I don't do instructional strategies. What I can do is focus on again. If you go back to the class and say to them, "Look, this is what we respect and value in this classroom. We respect and value language arts or whatever those are."
Yeah.
And then when they start showing those inklings of interest in those. Oh, hey, there you go. Because it seems like, even though I know you're sick, whatever, you make good relationships with kids. Highlight your relationship that you can develop with kids around what it is that you want to see in the classroom in those areas. And they can say, oh, look, this is how we can develop a better relationship, is when we are doing those things that relate better to the instructional piece and those things like that. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Awesome. Michael.
So this is more of a comment than an actual question,
Okay.
but what really stuck with me about your presentation is making yourself human, because I'm like you in class. I'm very animated, I jump around, and the positive reinforcement is like, it goes a long way. And I teach social studies in Patterson and set in 7th grade. And the kids seem to really, really love when I get like animated, and I use that daytime DJ voice. And I get kids that are now in 8th grade and sometimes even high school. They come back to me and they say, Mr. P, I wish we had your class again. High school is hard. I go, well, my class was hard. I just didn't make it seem like it was hard. So I just felt like that humanizing yourself and being animated and the positive reinforcement, and not, because they all think I'm a robot. They all think like teachers are robots. And I tell them about, like, oh, Friday night I went to see a movie. This movie's really great. Maybe at some point your parents will let you go see it or something like that. So they realize, like, I'm actually a human being outside of school. And I think they're more receptive, and they want to come to class when I treat them like, it's not always I'm the teacher, you're the student, or I'm the adult, you're the kid. I try to get down on their level sometimes, but I make sure they know the line of when it's time to be serious, if that makes any sense.
No, I appreciate that. That's a big thing. There's nothing wrong with having a Jekyll and Hyde, all right? Or Bruce Banner in the Hall, all right?
Yeah.
You can have two different sides to you in that, hey, Ravi, wait a second. That's not what we're about. You cut that out. That's not, come here. Let's have a conversation. Daytime, nighttime DJ voice. I'm telling you, let me share you this one thing. This is something I didn't know. And thank you very much, Michael. Yep. This is a Instagram message that I got from a teacher after I did this presentation about daytime DJ voice, nighttime DJ voice. Now, I know you know how to read, but I'm going to read it verbatim anyway, starting at the second paragraph. The thing that stuck out was hyping the good and downplaying the bad. I'm a physical education teacher in a high school, by the way. I've always tried to be firm with behavior. Oftentimes, that means yelling across the gym at poor behavior. This week, I celebrated those who were doing the right thing with the same volume and enthusiasm, and it has worked like a charm. I'm happy because the poor behavior stops. The students are happy because they're not getting yelled at, and it adds to rather than taking away from the activity. Thank you again. It works. It works. Reduce, not eliminate. It's not going to eliminate it, but it will reduce it. Let's go with Amira and then Roy, and then we're going to kind of wrap things up.
Quick, thank you for the presentation. I really needed it. I appreciate it. My question is, I have a mix of, so I teach a regular class, but I have some accommodated students, and my problem with the management, with the accommodated students, they start walking around the class, they can't sit in one spot. And at the same time, I feel bad because I know some of them can't sit still. So how would you deal with that management wise?
Number one, have some breaks where they can stand up, if that's possible. Additionally, I'm a big fan of stay as close to this chair as possible. I've used it many times. It's like, look, this is your seat. Stay as, and I don't know how big your room is, what much space you have, and what's happening, all like that. Stay as close to this. Can we get an agreement that, and I get it, you want to get up, move, whatever, as close to this chair as possible. Also, check with their other teachers that you also have. Are they wandering around the classroom in their room? Is there one of the teachers where they're actually sitting through? What strategies and tactics are they using as well? You know, you also have a network of other teachers around there. Not everybody, you know, everybody does the thing that I do, but check with them on those as well. Also, develop, you know, mini goals with them. Look, let's see if we can get you to, you know, let's stay still for a good 10, 15 minutes. Oh, boom, good, way to go. I respect, I value, wow, way to go, you've done it. Boom, oh, we step back a little bit. Let's keep it going a little bit. Let's keep the time going. Log it a little bit if you can. Then show them like, look what you're doing. You're able to do that. Now, if it seems like that they're doing this purposely, well, then that's a different kind of conversation, all right? Check out their IEP, see what it says on their IEP, if they have IEPs, if it states that they have a problem staying still. And sometimes, a lot of times in the IEP, read the IEP, people, please, 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 please. Even if you're not the special ed teacher, read them, read them, read them. There are accommodations and there are explanations of what it is that you can do for those different type of things that are happening within them, all right? So that's a big piece of it as well. Roy had, I think it was Roy that had his hand up in the chat earlier. Yes, Roy. You can unmute yourself. Is Roy still here? There's so many people here, it's hard to see what page you're on, Roy. If not Roy, then Hanson, and then we'll wrap things up.
I just want to add a little comment to, I think, Miss Casturi, is that the name?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had a student, similar student, I called security. Security could not move her. The security called 2 assistant principals. They couldn't move her. So the principal herself came, sat beside her. I teach it. That's for 9th grade class. I teach math. The principal talked with her. She wouldn't move. She took her phone, called her mom on the phone in the classroom. So at the end, she just stayed in the class. She wouldn't move. Nobody was able to move her. So the principal asked me, is it okay if she just sit down and so I can just go ahead and do my class? So that's what happened. In that case, you just have to let go. And when the students know how you behave, the principals know how your character is with the class, they'll just work with you and you just go ahead. That's what I did. I just went ahead and taught the class and just ignored her completely. Because if the administration could not deal with her, who am I to deal with her? I couldn't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. Understand, when the ultimate goal of discipline, all right, this is the way I saw it as administrator. The ultimate goal of discipline or everything is to do what is necessary to get the kid back to learning and get everybody back to learning, period, right? Give the consequence if necessary, calm the kid down, whatever is necessary so that they can get back to learning. I used to have times where kids would come to the office, they were kicked out of class, they're in a, they've calmed down. Are you calmed down? Yes. Okay, let's get you back to class. Teachers are angry. You bring them back to class. Whoa. The goal is to get back to learning. We are in a school. That's our job. But a lot of teachers are taking it personally. They disrupted my class. Calm your nerves, right? The goal is to get the child back to learning. Well, the other kids are going to think, tell the rest of the class, everyone. The goal is to get back to learning. Say that. If a student gets moved out of the classroom, as I said, you always address the class when they leave. So kid gets out of the classroom. In this case, they didn't leave the classroom, but let's say that they did. You address the class saying, okay, sorry that happened, everybody. You know what it is, respect and value. If she ends up coming back or ends up coming back, our goal is to make sure we all get back to learning. So now you've just set the standard so that if the child does come back, you're not losing face. You just told everyone our goal is to get back to learning. That's our goal. So if the child ends up staying in the classroom, I'm not going anywhere. Okay, we're going to get back to learning. That's the goal. So I get it. And I love that you said that, Hanson. Sometimes you guys just let it go. It's like, okay, the goal is to get back to teaching and learning. That's the ultimate goal. Every single relationships, teaching and learning. That's what schools are designed for. So why are you tripping because the child is there? If she's sitting there quiet, tapping on her phone, let her tap on the phone. Teaching and learning. Deal with it afterwards. All right, Roy, you said that your mic wasn't working, but it is now. So let's get Roy
I'm here.
Yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you. Sorry. It was mostly a comment.
Okay.
About like,
and then we'll wrap up for the evening, everybody. All right.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
It was just about like talking to parents and stuff. Like I know some teachers don't want to do it. What I do is I write a script before I even call any parent. So like I know what to say. Like I don't have a brain fart because you're talking to so many parents and you're like, okay, what do I say next? What do I say next? So I just maybe write bullet points like, hi, my name is Mr. Morel from Malcolm and Shabazz. I'm the high school teacher for Zed. I'm just calling to let you know, here's my number, here's my email. And if you talk to them very like gently welcoming, most of the time they'll reciprocate that back. You know, if you're friendly with them, hey, I'm sorry to bother. It's just a quick call, just checking in. Here's my number, here's my email. Anything you need, I'm available. And like, you know, I think that goes a long way because once you get that rapport with the parents, that student fears you now almost in a way. Like they don't want you to, you know, keep calling home or like they know that relationship.
There you go. I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, just very much like Victoria said, the parents are scripted. They know what they're ready to say. Why not you as well? Why not you? That's part of the reason why I get. Oh, I wanted to give you guys a QR code to that. To the flow chart. So that way you can. Let me go through. I know I have the QR code somewhere here. Let me find it. I'm clicking through. Oh my gosh, I don't have a QR code. You know what I'll do, Victoria?
Yeah.
I will send it to you so that way you can get it out to everybody.
Yeah,
all
if you
right?
send it to me, I'll post it for everybody.
All right.
Steve, thank you so much.
You are welcome so
Truly
much.
appreciate you taking the time. Everybody who logged on, thank you so much for logging on tonight. Hopefully you can show Steve some love in the comments. And if you have not done the exit survey, please take a moment to do that. I'll also post it in Canvas for those of you that are on your phone and might not be able to get to it. But thank you again. Really appreciate it. Everybody have a great night. Thanks
You're
again,
welcome.
Steve. Wonderful.
You're welcome. I see a couple more hands. I'll hang around and answer those, but for everybody else, I think it's okay to say they're ready. They can roll out if they need to. Sounds good, Victoria?
Yeah, I'll hang on the line too, whatever you need.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Good night to everybody else.
See you later, everybody. See you. Take care. Thanks so much, everybody. Stacy. Hey, Rolando. I like that little applause. That's cool. Thanks.
Hi, I'm here. Actually, let me pull over. Mine is a comment, but it's a comment and a question.
Okay.
I was a parent liaison before I started teaching. So speaking with parents hasn't been a challenge for me because that's what I was doing for so long. But what I try to do is when I contact parents, instead of saying, hi, this is Mrs. Regan, I say, hi, this is Stacy. You know, like I make sure that I say my first name. Like I say, hi, this is Stacy. Well, now that I'm teaching, I find myself saying Stacy Reagan more. But when I was a parent liaison, because my entire role was just to develop relationships with parents, I would always, you know, just say my first name. And I would say, well, you know, the students call me Miss Reagan. And I feel like it disarms them. You know, it makes me human, like, okay, you're Kiana, I'm Stacy. You know, we're just regular people. What do you think about that? Like, it's been working for me. But like I said, now that I'm on the other side of the desk, I kind of feel myself, you know, leaning on my last name more. So
Okay, yeah. I always say your first name is Mr. or Mrs. and then your last name is your last name. I mean, as much as you want to develop that relationship, you still want to have a healthy school principal. Because let's say something goes down, all right? You've developed a good relationship with the parent, whatever like that. You're a teacher, but all of a sudden something happens that's not right. All of a sudden, parent is in the meeting. All right, Stacy, you need well, there need nope. Your first name is now Miss. your last name is Reagan. So I'm a strong believer of, as much as you develop those positive relationships, you still need to have that little bit of distance. Now, if you live in the community, you're going to have friends, all right? But they also need to understand, when we're talking about school and working with school, my name is Miss Reagan. Outside of that, I'm Stacy. When I was a building principal, I used to do that with my own staff. If there was something that came down that was important, Mr. Bolor is in charge of this. This is da-da-da-da-da-da. Steve says, oh man, this is crazy. Yo, how you doing? What was your weekend like? But Mr. Bolor's in charge. And I would say literally Steve and Mr. Bolor. And they understood the difference. Same thing with you. You got to have that. I think there a little bit of a distance needs to happen. Does that make sense? All right.
It does. It does.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Cassandra.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
It's all right. You're fine. I'm patient. We're good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bolor, for everything. It was a really interesting presentation. I don't know if I don't know exactly who might be able to answer this question, because it has to do with the year 2 team. But my my tech specialist that I would like to have on my team is a tech specialist for 3 schools. So he's not like my personal tech specialist. But would he be okay as being on my year 2 team?
Victoria could answer that probably.
Yes, anybody, you're really choosing people that best support you. So if he is support, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Easy enough.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
But yeah, I get it.
Oh, sorry, say again, Mr. Bolor. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was just saying, I used to be an instructor of this course as well. I knew the answer, but I wanted Victoria to answer because she's actually the instructor. So good. It is good.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Georgios. Oh, you're muted. Almost.
Sorry. First of all, question, is this still getting recorded? Because my question, I don't want it to be recorded. I asked if that's